What would you do if you were handcuffed inside the company you built with your own hands? In today's powerful and emotional story, a devoted single dad faces public humiliation when he is accused of a crime he never committed. But just when everything seems lost, an unexpected visitor uncovers a shocking truth that changes everything. This inspiring story is filled with betrayal, suspense, justice, and a reminder that honesty always rises above deception. Stay with us until the end to discover how one man's integrity saved his reputation and exposed a dangerous conspiracy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories. And let's get started. David Carter pulled into the parking lot of Carter Technologies just after sunrise. As a single father raising his 12-year-old daughter Emma, he had spent years balancing parenthood with building one of Texas's fastest-growing software companies. The headquarters stood as proof of countless sacrifices, late nights, and difficult decisions. He smiled as he looked at the building, remembering the day he signed the lease for the company's first tiny office. What began as a dream had become a thriving business, employing hundreds of people. As David entered the lobby, something immediately felt wrong. Employees stood in small groups, whispering nervously. Conversations stopped when they saw him. Before he could ask what was happening, two security officers approached him with serious expressions. Behind them stood Victor Reynolds, a recently hired executive who had gained significant influence within the company. Victor stepped forward and announced that evidence of financial misconduct had been discovered and that David was being detained pending an investigation. The accusation hit David like a thunderbolt. He had dedicated his life to running the company honestly. There must be a mistake, he said calmly. But Victor ignored him and handed documents to the officers. Within moments, David's wrists were locked in handcuffs. Shock spread across the lobby. Employees who had worked beside him for years stared in disbelief. Some looked angry while others appeared frightened. News of the incident spread rapidly through the building. Phones buzzed with messages, and rumors traveled from department to department. Outside local reporters began arriving. After receiving anonymous tips about the arrest, David remained composed despite the humiliation. He knew he had done nothing wrong. Then his phone rang. One of the officers allowed him to answer. It was Emma. Her voice trembled as she asked if the rumors were true. David reassured her that everything would be okay and promised he would come home soon. As the call ended, he looked around the lobby and silently wondered who was truly behind the shocking betrayal. The atmosphere inside the conference room changed the moment Federal Prosecutor Sarah Mitchell walked through the door. She had been assigned to review the evidence supporting the allegations against David Carter. Company executives sat confidently around the table, believing the case against him was already settled. David remained seated quietly, still shaken by the events of the day, but determined to let the facts speak for themselves. Sarah began reviewing financial records, emails, and internal reports that had been presented as proof of misconduct. As she examined the documents, several details immediately caught her attention. Transaction dates did not match company records. Signatures appeared inconsistent, and key files seemed to have been altered. The deeper she looked, the more suspicious the evidence became. Then she looked up and recognized David, years earlier when Sarah was a struggling college student. A scholarship program funded by David's charitable foundation had helped her continue her education. She remembered meeting him at an award ceremony and hearing him speak about honesty, responsibility, and giving people opportunities to succeed. The memory made her even more determined to examine the case objectively and thoroughly. After several hours of investigation, Sarah uncovered the truth. The accusations had been manufactured by Victor Reynolds and a small group of associates who planned to force David out and gain control of the company. They had falsified records, manipulated internal systems, and leaked false information to the media to make the allegations appear legitimate. Sarah immediately ordered David's release and informed federal agents of her findings. Victor's confidence vanished as investigators confronted him with evidence of fraud and conspiracy. One by one, those involved were removed from the building for questioning. When the handcuffs were finally removed, employees gathered in the lobby and applauded. Many felt ashamed for believing the rumors. Moments later, Emma rushed through the front doors and hugged her father tightly. David smiled as relief washed over him. Standing beside his daughter, he watched the truth prevail and realized that while lies may spread quickly, integrity ultimately wins in the end.